Men are never convinced of your reasons, of your sincerity, of the seriousness of your sufferings, except by your death. So, as long as you are alive, your case is doubtful. You have a right only to their skepticism. This quote is from The Fall, and in my opinion, Albert Camus' best work. The Fall is the story of a man who has fallen from grace. Once a successful lawyer, Jean-Baptiste, who is our main character, is now a bitter, shallow man spending his nights drinking in the bars of Amsterdam, telling strangers the story of how he became who he is. So let's get started. What makes The Fall so brilliant is that, unlike most novels, almost nothing actually happens. That's the best part of in my opinion, of this novel. It's like, uh, if you guys read the second chapter of Crime and Punishment, when the I forgot his name, but the old man at the bar is yapping to Raskolnikov. That's what The Fall is about. It's just one man yapping in a bar, but it has that Dostoevsky feeling where each word, each sentence has a weight and a meaning behind it that's far better than telling an actual story. Okay? It's just one man talking, but somehow by the end you feel like you've been put on trial. John Baptist begins as a kind of person most of us would admire. He's successful, charming. He helps blind people cross the street. He gives money to charity. He defends the weak in court. You know, your casual, nice main protagonist, I suppose. He is, by every outward measure, a good person. Or at least that's what you are meant to believe, and at least that's what he himself also believes. Okay? Then one night, he's walking across a bridge in Paris when he hears a woman jump into the river behind him. He hears the splash, he hears the cries, and he keeps walking. He does nothing. That moment destroys him. Not because he let someone die, although that certainly was main part of it, but there's something more to it, okay? What destroys him is the realization that his virtue was conditional. He always thought of himself as courageous, compassionate, and even noble. But when confronted with a moment that actually demanded courage, he failed. That's what this book is about. It's a mirror to see your own reflection, to see if you himself are Jean Baptiste. And suddenly the image he had of himself collapses. I think that's what makes this book so uncomfortable for everyone to read. Most of us like to imagine who we are. We imagine we'd stand up to injustice. We imagine we'd be brave in a crisis. We imagine we'd do the right thing. But the truth is that we usually don't know who we are until we're tested. And that even then, we often spend years constructing stories to avoid facing the answer. What Clamence, also the other name, Jean-Baptiste Clamence is his whole name, so I'm just referring to him as Clamence. What Clamence discovers is something Camus understood deeply. Human beings are experts at self-deception. We don't just lie to other people, we lie to ourselves. We convince ourselves that our motivations are pure when they're actually driven by vanity. We call our desires for praise generosity. We call our fear prudence. We call our selfishness self-care, and we do it so often that eventually we start believing our own excuses. And that's because Clemens isn't simply confessing his sins, he's accusing you. Yes, he's accusing the reader. Throughout the book, he constantly shifts from I to we. Camus is trying to put you down to Clemens' level, to talk to you how Clemens is talking to I forgot the name of the other character. He's not the main character, but the other guy who he's talking to at the bar when the book takes place, right? When the story takes place. He starts with his failures and slowly suggests that they are everyone's failure. That his hypocrisy is not within himself, it's universal. You and I have the same hypocrisy that Clemens has. That beneath all our carefully constructed identities lies the same desire to be admired without actually deserving admiration. And the uncomfortable part is that he's often right. The quote I opened with captures this perfectly, right? People really take suffering seriously while you're alive. If you're struggling, they wonder whether you're exaggerating. If you explain yourself, they question your motives. If you defend yourself, they assume you're biased. Only once you're gone does your story become fixed. Only then does doubt disappear. That's the beauty of the fall. It's a cynical observation, but there's something undeniably true about it. We're far more comfortable sympathizing with tragedy than engaging with living, complicated people. The dead can't contradict our narratives, the living can. What I love most about Camus is that he never offers easy solutions. A lot of philosophers diagnose a problem and then spend the next 200 pages telling you how to solve it. Camus doesn't do that, okay? He simply shines a light on uncomfortable truths and leave you alone with it. By the end of the book, you start doubting yourself, doubting who you are, and doubting your own morals and virtue. There's no redemption arc waiting at the end of the fall, no moment where Clarence finds peace, no grand revelation that makes everything okay. Just a man who has seen himself clearly and can't look away. And maybe that's why the book has stayed with me, because most of us spend our lives trying to escape judgment. But the fall suggests something far worse than being judged by others, being judged by one's self, knowing exactly who you are, knowing exactly where you failed, and having no argument left in your defense. That is the fall. A short novel about guilt, hypocrisy, self-deception, and the uncomfortable possibility that the person we think we are is mostly a story we've told ourselves and others. And if that sounds depressing, it kind of is, but it's also one of the best books I've ever read, one of favorite works of Camus, his last work. It's, in my opinion, his masterpiece, and everyone should read it.